talking about the motion of no confidence in the president. We are looking at the politics thereof. Let me introduce our guest on the program this morning in Parliament, starting with Mr. Themba Godi. He is with the African People's Convention. He is the president there. Mr. Godi, nice having you on the program. Good morning.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed. And also Dr. Mario Ambrosini of the IFP. He's also in our Parliament studios. He's a member of Parliament. Dr. Mario Oriani Ambrosini, thank you for your time.
Good morning to you all.
Thank you. All right, let me start with you, perhaps, Dr. Ambrosini. And this is a process question, really, so that we can understand why is it that you have taken the Speaker of Parliament as the opposition to court?
Not holding a vote on no confidence. It's almost akin not holding an election when an election is due. It is a major breach of the constitutional mechanism put in place to ensure that the president continues to hold the confidence and continues to maintain a fiduciary relationship with Parliament. Within the parliamentary timeline, the next things that is going to happen is the president is going to give the State of the Nation address, which is the most important action of a president in Parliament. It is therefore essential that before that takes place, before this Parliament rises, in this present environment of generalized doubts of whether or not the President still represents the will of the people, it is necessary for Parliament to test whether or not the President has the confidence of Parliament. The President is elected in Parliament. It is in Parliament that the debate needs to take place, not in some remote party conference.
But who decides? Who is supposed to decide when and how to hold this motion of no confidence debate?
The whether is not a decision. It must take place. The when, it depends on the programming committee, and it needs to exercise its discretion within the parameters of the Constitution. The Constitution says it must take place, so it cannot unduly delay. When the programming committee fails to schedule that motion of no confidence within the parliamentary schedule, it becomes unavoidable to go to court to reinstate the constitutional order which has been breached.
Now you say when is not a decision. In other words, you say it must be, or it must be debated whenever asked to. In other words, if one political party asks for it, the procedure is that it must be debated.
No, not the whether. It's not. It must happen. The when, it's a reasonable time.
Oh, right.
We've asked for that to happen before Parliament rises. Today we are spending hours with farewell speeches. So there is plenty of time for Parliament to debate a motion of great importance when Parliament meets for no more than 2 or 3 hours a day. Other parliaments go through the night until 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock at night when there are matters of importance. This is a matter of importance.
Right. Let me bring in the president of the APC then about those two issues of the when and the whether. Do you agree that it has to happen every time it has been asked for, or should there be enough conditions for it to be debated? In other words, it should be well, what is the word? It must be well motivated for.
Yeah, I think we at all times need to balance rights and responsibilities. In as much as people have rights to raise motions, to suggest topics for debate and discussions, these need to be done in a manner that shows some level of responsibility. Otherwise, you are going to have week in and week out, trivial issues being brought up for debate and discussion. And I think that when you talk about a motion of no confidence on the head of state, it must be something that is really well thought out and carries substance, not merely as part of a frivolous, political game, which I think is what we have seen, what we've witnessed. And although, look, I wouldn't go to the trenches to deny them the right to debate the motion, which I don't agree with. I nonetheless understand the irritation of the ruling party, with this proposed motion.
So, in other words, you see the reasons put forward by other opposition parties as frivolous?
No, I mean, indeed. I don't think there's anything substantive that, because you see, you need.
All right. Well, we seem to be experiencing technical problems there in our connection with Parliament. I'm not sure if you can hear me there, Mr. Godi. You were still talking about your argument that some of the reasons put forward are frivolous.
Yeah, well, I can hear you, Tolan.
Oh, okay.
I was saying that it also reflects the extent to which the office of the president is respected by these parties. Say that when you raise such a motion, it indeed must be well thought out, and it must reflect the gravity of the issues at hand that would lead to such a debate. But to merely take political disagreements and cobble them together and say there should be a debate on a motion of no confidence, I think it's merely devaluing the office of the president. I think it's a deliberately designed political strategy to attack that office.
Dr. Ambrosini, how do you respond then?
Well, let's look at the facts. It helps a little thinking about the facts. We are in a context in which there is a front page article after another questioning the integrity of the President of the Republic. We are in a context in which the Deputy President of the country wants to be the President of the ANC and is active in campaigning for that position. We are in a context in which the President of the ANC is routinely the President of the country. So there is no doubt that within the whole of South Africa, internationally, there is a challenge.
Yeah, but Dr. Ambrosini, can we really use articles to make these kind of decisions? Certainly, I mean, one of the points you make, for instance, is that the Deputy President wants to be the President of the... He's never said that.
Well, then let's find out. There are people who want him as President within Parliament. This is not an impeachment procedure. So this is not about, is the president guilty of something? This is a confidence procedure. Does the president still enjoy the confidence of the majority of the people? That's what the Constitution requires.
But Mr. Godi says we can't use issues of disagreement to then initiate a process of confidence, of a motion of no confidence.
I have no idea what issues of disagreement mean. What the issue is here is that there is a growing lack of confidence in the president. If you look at the...
But how do you ascertain that? How do you know that?
The only way in a democracy you assert that is by through a vote of no confidence. If we lose it, we are wrong. Look at the situation of Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi. He supported the president up to a certain point, then he lost confidence. How many other people are in the same position? And it is not... we held the last vote on no confidence more than a year ago. So it is not an abuse of the process when that is done after a year in the present political context with the support of almost all opposition parties. This is far from being frivolous, and I submitted to you that is almost required for us as members of Parliament to place this motion before, to voice the concerns that the country has on whether or not this president of ours is still fit to lead the country between now and the next election.
All right, Mr. Godi, then.
I think unless we redefine our rules of engagement, I would still repeat the fact that fact of the matter is that these political parties anyway never had confidence in the president. So it's not like it's a sound on the road to Damascus, kind of change on their part. And I do think that the issues that they are raising are very broad and general, and the interpretation that they have on the unfolding political landscape, it's what you'll find consistently with any party that is in opposition or that is outside the ambit of the ruling party or any party that is in power. So there isn't anything dramatic, there isn't anything substantive.
Fine, but Mr. Godi, here's the issue. If there isn't anything substantive, if there isn't anything dramatic, let members of Parliament then vote on it, is the argument.
Yeah, no. That's why I said, look, I don't think I can go to the trenches to deny them the right to debate it, but I understand the irritation of the majority party because there's nothing to debate, there's nothing substantive. That's why I think it is more about an attack on the standing of the office of the president. You want to wage a war of attrition on it and reduce it to an average and ordinary office. I think for me, that is how I interpret it politically. And I think that's how the ANC looks at it. That's why they react the way they did.
Sure. But let's also talk a little bit, if we may, Dr. Ambrosini, about the issue of timing. Because on one hand, you hear the Parliament, for instance, the National Assembly saying, well, yeah, this is a scheduling matter. And as far as we're concerned, there's nothing urgent about it. And opposition parties must understand that point of view.
Well, it's either now or it is next year. Plus, there is a rule in the rules book that makes the motion lapse unless it's heard by the end of the year. So this specific motion will die on the 31st of December. Parliament is rising, the President will deliver the State of the Nation address under a cloud of not having the confidence of Parliament. The debate about the presidency under the constitutions, under the rules of engagement set out in the Constitution, is to be held in Parliament. We are trying to build Parliament as the center where these decisions are made. It is a breach of the rules, of the constitutional rules of engagement, to depose a Parliament, to depose a President elsewhere. What happened to President Mbeki was constitutionally wrong. Point one. Point two, is not true that this is a repeat performance of what happened in the past. For instance, the IFP voted for this president when he was elected by Parliament. Mm-hmm. We abstained on the last vote on no confidence. We are now promoting this vote on no confidence together with the other opposition parties.
But
so that's a shift.
I'm going to come to you in a moment.
That's a shift of grounds. We have shifted our grounds because we feel that we are reflecting a much broader shift of grounds in domestic and international public opinion as it relates to the confidence on President
All right, Mr. Godi?
Yeah, no, I just wanted to say, you see, Ambrosini here, now on two occasions, seem to place the views of the IFP as a decisive element. Last time we did not support it. This time we're supporting it. It reflects a substantive shift in national and international opinions. I do want to say that Parliament is a forum of debate and discussion, and there are a lot of motions that are raised and suggested for discussion and debates, and not everything gets to be debated and discussed. But in this particular instance, it cannot escape us because Parliament is composed of politicians, and whatever we do, it's to a large extent political calculations. And I'm saying that to say because there is a perceived challenge on the president by his deputy, therefore there should be a motion of no confidence, or that he must not be removed in Mangaung, he must be removed in Parliament. I mean, for me, it just boggles my mind in terms of how we as Parliament can, waste time, even go to courts, unless there's a political motive.
All right, well, we'll open the line.
The Forum at 8 with Xolani Gwala.
With Mr. Godi.
Yeah, look, just so that people appreciate, as the leader of my party, I would have no less privileges than I have as a chairperson of SCOPA. So I stand nothing to lose if I lose that position. I have been mobilizing mine workers. I've been mobilizing communities with mines. I've been mobilizing traditional leaders. So I don't know what it is that I might be begging from the ANC. It's just a principled position.
And Dr. Ambrosini?
This is not about me, it's not about Mr. Gordon. It's about the Republic and what type of Republic we are going to have. Yes, the role of the opposition is that of becoming the majority of the future. You eliminate that aspiration, you eliminate the essence of democracy. You do not understand that, you do not understand democracy. It's that simple.
All right.